can feel it.
3 real estate agents compete for a chance to sell a home in the very hot San Diego market. It could get ugly. So, Elizabeth?
Yes.
You, seriously?
Really?
It could get awkward. I always wondered what it would be like to be a chicken. But it's bound to be tons of fun, because only one agent can win this listing. Because there's such low inventory and yet high demand, the San Diego housing market has become a dream for home sellers. Today, we meet the Trepaniers, a lovely couple who have found their large home empty now that their children have all grown. The couple is looking to downsize and move on to the next chapter of their lives.
Our kids are all grown up and it's kind of just the 2 of us, and
acquired multiple dogs.
we replaced our children with dogs and chickens. We're free to kind of follow our dreams and just go wherever, whatever calls to us, basically. Here's the prize. The family bought this house back in 2001 for only $286,000. It's got 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, an optional office, a beautifully renovated kitchen, and a large backyard. With, you guessed it, unfortunately, the Trepaniers have had some bad experiences with previous real estate agents. We were paying rent and mortgage, and so we were getting tight money-wise, and I was starting to panic a little bit. And so I called her, and she just laid into me. She was like, "How dare you accuse me of not working?" And she was really mean. Like, I was crying by the end of the phone call, and after I hung up, I thought, that's really weird. I'm her client. And you would think that she would be a little bit more comforting, like. Fortunately, on Win This Listing, we handpick vetted agents who, believe me, know their stuff. The 3 agents battling for this week's bid: Frank, the surfer Carpenter; Elizabeth, the champ Story; and John, the golfer Lieber. Elizabeth was on the very first episode of Win This Listing, and she lost a very close race to Big Daddy. This time, I know she's coming guns blazing.
Episode 1, I guess I should have been a little bit more aggressive. This time, I'm going to make absolutely sure that they know that I'm the best agent for the job.
Well, Elizabeth may know the show better her second time around, but that won't be good enough alone, because it's Frank's second time on the show too. He is actually our reigning champion. Frank was dead last previously after the initial meetings, but came back to win this listing, and he has all the momentum.
Knowing what got me to win that one, and some of the things that they mentioned was that I listened to the clients and they really appreciate it.
And finally, there's John Lieber. He may be soft-spoken, but believe me, he is the king of La Mesa real estate.
I think I've got a pretty good listing presentation. I live in La Mesa and my office is in La Mesa. I happen to have the highest priced home sale in this zip code. That's right. Since the peak of the market in 2006.
Now it's time for our agents to tour the home and meet the homeowners.
AC works fantastic, yay!
Another nice full bathroom.
And then we've got our master, okay?
See if we get a little view from the master.
Good thing to capture during the photos, opening up the windows, shooting in. Nice room here. All rooms have a nice big size to them.
Nice custom.
All right, and then we have our lovely open living space again. I love this.
By getting the photographer back here, showing how big the room is and the sunset views that they're right there.
Wow, nice place you got here.
I love that it's separate but connected. This is a great spot to hang out and relax.
But sunset views are going to be right out here towards the west.
I'm guessing this was the family room addition. High ceilings in here and access out to the backyard.
Little garden patch, some chickens.
I like the chicken coops. I'm a fan of chickens myself, so this is kind of a cool selling point.
But most importantly, we're going to have west views.
Coming up next, our agents will be presenting to Russ and Susie. Let's find out who lays an egg. Oh hey, what's up guys? Derek Evans here from Win This Listing. Buying a home in a hot market like this one can be really difficult, but it can be made especially difficult if you don't have a great lender. At Win This Listing, we recommend Sean Cahan, the Mortgage Geek. He knows everything there is to know about mortgages, works more and harder than anyone I've ever seen. If you want to buy a home or refinance your current home, call Sean Cahan, the Mortgage Geek. He'll take care of you like nobody else will. Elizabeth Story, Frank Carpenter, and John Lieber, three of La Mesa, San Diego's top real estate agents, battle for the Trepaniers family home. Inventory is low, demand is high, and it's still anyone's game. Well, the game formalities are over and the agents are armed to the teeth, ready to present to the homeowners. Our reigning champion, Frank, is up first.
So this is a book I made for you guys about your property, some of the comps in the area. So I did a little bit of the comps and everything like that and pulled out the different prices. What I wanted to show you is one of the areas I specialize is obviously La Mesa because I used to live here and everything, and I just moved out literally in February. So one thing that's a little bit different about me that I want to direct is
I'm really a wascally wabbit.
there's a few things different, and that's my marketing that I do. One of the things that I do that's very important, as you probably saw on those listings, is my photos. If I can't bring people to this property, that's a big issue. Yeah. I want people to see these photos and it's something different that'll capture them to want them to come here. And what I do is these twilight photos. This is the exact same house a year before, photos that were taken, and then my photos. Pretty. And it's literally across the board with that, where you can see what other agents do and what I do. I could see this thing selling final price being around $580, $585, and Zillow is so funny. When I did that thing, I'm like, oh, that's kind of right where I am. I love being the guy saying, you know, let's take time. Let's take at least a month to fix up your property, do these little things. And I do whole detailed reports with like photos and arrows and everything. Right. Kind of like how you saw my little comp thing. It shows all the houses and I plug them in.
Frank, using Russ. Hey, no witchcraft on the show. Read the contract.
People coming from Arizona are huge buyers here, and they're dealing with 112-degree temperatures. Right. So right now, still good, but then once September starts, schools start up again.
Yeah. So are you a broker then?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not just an agent, I'm a broker.
You're a broker as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Broker, agent, real estate badass, whatever you prefer.
So to answer that, I have no problem working with you guys on whatever, because you know, what I look at, two things I look at. With this show, it's actually a marketing point for us. Right. It's a huge thing for us because it's going to be on the show, it's going to be marketed.
Frank got the price right, and that's really singing Russ's song. Our reigning champion is going to be tough to beat today. Elizabeth's story is up next.
I like to think I do business a little bit differently because I don't work with just a ton of clients. I work with a handful of clients that I can always service personally, and I bend over backwards to make sure that they get 5 service when they hire me. The marketing is the most important thing to sell your house. The reason why is because over 90% of all home buyers, the first place they're looking is online. So you have to have a strong presence online. Nobody's driving, I mean, people are driving around neighborhoods, but the majority of them are looking online first. So I'd like to do an open house or a neighborhood announcement. So I'll literally go around, start knocking on neighbors' doors.
Well, I hope you end up knocking on my door, sweetheart.
Let them know, hey, do you have any friends or family that want to buy in the neighborhood? We're going to be listing their home. And this is all before it goes on the MLS, because what I try to do is really front load the marketing so that it's been exposed before it gets on the MLS, so that the MLS time is very short. You know, all the best marketing in the world doesn't do you any good unless you price it right. It's actually safer to underprice than it is to overprice. Yeah. Renovating and repairs. You might already know this, but like, for example, if you go to Remodeling Magazine, not all repairs are created equal and not all will yield a 100% return.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of one of our biggest things, our biggest questions is like, how are we going to get the most bang for our buck, you know? So. Yeah.
And for me, what I would tell you is I'd paint inside and outside. I'd change a couple really inexpensive fixtures and do the yard. That's what I would say. Okay. A little bit of caulking here and there.
Well, you know, a little caulk never hurt anybody, you know.
This looks beautiful. What's the cost?
Funny you asked. Howard, bam!
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go right into that. If you do everything that I would recommend, I think we're going to be right around 610.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going to be.
Really? You think you get 610 for this place?
List it for 610.
And then see where it is.
But you said you always start low and work your way up. It's better than starting high and working down.
Right.
So that's why.
Champ, he got you on this one.
$599 would be a really sexy get people number in it.
Blah, 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 blah.
To get people number in it.
Blah, 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 blah.
To get people number in it.
Blah, 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 pee.
Yeah.
Get people
Right.
in the door number.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's kind of my range, $599 to $610.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
So Susie may have told you already. I've already planned your whole retirement. Okay, here's what I want you guys to do.
Are you feeling ganged up on a little bit, honey?
Uh-oh.
I married the oldest of 10. I understand being ganged up on.
Okay. So knowing that you have kids in Salt Lake, that you have kids here, that you want to be both places, and that you maybe talked about a boat or RV, I had this whole... No, okay.
He's again.
All right, so I better not talk about it because I don't want to put him off. We'll talk later.
All I want to do is have a place there, and I spend 6 months here, 6 months there. I want to have my places near a resort in some way so I can always just rent them out while I'm at the other place.
Yeah, we need to have something closer to the beach.
Right.
So.
Which I have for you.
Awesome.
It happens to be the least expensive, most appropriate vacation rental. Only one on the market. It just got listed. I really wish you could buy it today.
How far from the beach and how far from Legoland?
This would be about 10 minutes to either.
Well, the champ stumbled there at the end, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to hang in there. Let's check in with Russ and Susie. Okay.
Okay.
Now we've seen two presentations, so we have something to compare. Tell me, what is it that you liked about Frank's presentation first?
The price.
Okay.
It was really right.
Price was right.
The price was right.
How much did he say he would sell the home for?
1%. He'd go as low as 1%.
And how much did he think this house was going to sell for?
Around 6.
Anything you didn't like about Frank?
His hair. He has too much of it on the top
You're
of his
just
head.
jealous.
How about Elizabeth? What did you like about her?
I liked that she was helping to guide us for what to do next. I thought she had some great ideas.
Well, Elizabeth did a great job with her presentation as usual. I think she's got Susie, but I'm not sure about Russ. Now that Elizabeth and Frank have both presented, it's time for the newcomer, John Lieber, to take on the champ and the reigning champion. Coming up. With a 125-year legacy of integrity, service, and leadership, First American Title Insurance Company combines in-depth knowledge of the San Diego market with the national reach and strength of one of the largest title insurers in the U.S. First American Title's experienced team in San Diego pride themselves in providing the highest quality customer service and products to local real estate professionals, including comprehensive title insurance coverage and professional services for real estate purchases, construction, refinances, and equity loans. For more information, visit firstam.com/title. That's firstam.com/title. Welcome back to Win This Listing. Real estate agents Elizabeth Story and Frank Carpenter have pitched the Trepaniers, and now it's time for John the Golfer Lieber.
La Mesa is more or less the area where I do a good portion of my business, La Mesa, San Carlos, Del Cerro. I wanted to share a couple things. I've got the highest sale. I sold one on 5930 Dugan. A couple years back for $602,500.
Okay.
It's the highest sale since 2007. And also in San Carlos, the next zip code to the west, I've got the highest sale for any home 2,500 square feet or under.
I mean, obviously, there's really only one choice here.
I look at myself now in a lot of ways as more of a marketing expert. One of the unique things that I've done is I've put together a database of agents, everyone that I've worked with. So I send out video email to all of those people. Like most people, we do professional photos. I also do professional video for everything. After the video's done, I like to list the home on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So everyone's going to come during the same time. And it creates an environment where you've got a lot of people here at once, and when you go into a house, you see a lot of people around, you instantly think it's
a hot thing.
Yeah.
Get off me, man. This is my house.
Like, what would be the best thing to do to get the biggest bang for a buck?
The front yard is the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
To get it ready. Yeah.
Based on these comps and stuff, do you think we are reasonable to think that we could get over 6, or do you think that we should just not even?
I think getting over 6 is a challenge.
Okay.
I don't think it's a realistic challenge.
Yeah.
There's no way, man. No way.
These are probably our two best comps, are Benny and Chaz. The one on Chaz, when you and I talked on the phone, I thought this one is very, very similar to yours.
The closest, yeah.
It doesn't look like a whole lot when you pull up to it.
Yeah.
And then you get inside and it's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty similar size. It's sold for $590. If you don't do anything, it's probably somewhere in the mid-5s. If you do the other, little things we talked about.
You get it closer to 6.
Yeah, you spend $5, $7, $10,000 on things, then yeah, I think you can get close to 6.
Okay. So what is your cost?
It's 2.5 to me and 2.5 to the agent that brings the buyer.
So we've seen all 3 agent presentations at this point.
Yes.
And obviously there's a big decision that has to be made now. We're going to give you guys some time to make that decision, grab a bite to eat. But based on what you've seen so far, let's talk about John's presentation. What did you like about John's presentation?
I like John. He was very unassuming. He just kind of came in. He let the numbers speak for themselves. He wasn't really trying to pitch us. He wasn't, he wasn't like a hard sell at all. He was just, hey, this is what I do, and I'm getting results.
Well, now it is time for you to make a decision. Okay. I'll let you deliberate over lunch. We're going to go grab a bite to eat. You have to write one agent's name on the back side of this card. That agent will be eliminated from the competition when we come back from lunch.
Okay.
You guys have any questions about that? Now this is going to be a very difficult decision. Frank came in with the right price. Elizabeth had an amazing presentation. John has sold every house in the neighborhood. But somebody's gotta go. First elimination coming up next. Somebody's gotta go home. Hey there, Derek Evans here from Win This Listing. Most people don't realize that you have a choice when it comes to choosing your escrow company when you buy or sell a home. Well, you do, and that choice matters. I recommend 5-Star Escrow. And remember, if you want 5-star service, there's only one place to go. That's 5-Star Escrow. Tell your agent about them. Welcome back to Win This Listing, where 3 real estate agents are competing for the chance to sell a home in the very hot La Mesa home market. It's time for the first elimination. We find out who the Trepaniers are cutting first. Elizabeth really won over Susie, but I'm not sure about Russ. Her presentation was great, but her price was higher than the other agents. Frank offered the lowest commissions, and he's the reigning champion here on Win This Listing. And John is no question the area expert. He's sold homes all in this neighborhood. All right, this is it. You guys know how the game goes. At this point, somebody's got to go home. But you've all done a great job, and right now I don't know whose name is written on this card, but the name of the person who's written on this card is going to be eliminated from the competition. So Elizabeth,
yes,
you really impressed. They really liked the presentation that you made and sort of the foresight for what the next steps were, not just in selling this home, but in satisfying their retirement goals. They really appreciated that. Frank, you did a great job with your presentation. They felt that you were extremely knowledgeable, very nice. They loved the fact that you were willing to help them out on the money side of things as well. John, they were absolutely blown away by the fact that you've sold houses around in this neighborhood. In fact, some of the houses that they knew of that you've sold for a lot more than they expected. So they were very impressed by that. However, only 2 people can move on. John, you're safe. You can step aside. And John Lieber is safe. He's so excited. This is so exciting. Frank and Elizabeth, I think you've both done an amazing job today. I know you're both great agents, but only one of you can move on and one of you has to go home.
That's me, isn't it?
Frank, you did not win this listing yet. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Fun though.
All right.
I couldn't handle the stress. I was like, say something.
I waited until you broke.
Look at me.
Oh man. And Frank Carpenter has been eliminated. The reigning champion is out, even though he had the great price. You're eliminated first today. Were you surprised by that?
A little bit. It's a draw of the cards every time. You do your best, but you never know.
Well, it's time to crown a new champion here on Win This Listing. Coming up next, Elizabeth Story and John Lieber make their final pitches to the Trepaniers.
All right. Well, thank you for your time again today, and I've been doing a lot of thinking about your property ever since I found out about this. I've already spoken to a painter, spoken to a landscaper, I've got them lined up to come and give bids, and I've made it very clear to them that time is of the essence, because anytime you're doing a little fixing up, it always becomes a bottleneck and it causes unnecessary stress, so I like to make sure that I move those things along quickly. I absolutely want to sell your house for the fastest possible, and also for the most money possible, to really put some money in your pockets to go and invest in other things. So I'd love to, if I was hired, start pre-marketing it right away, start putting out some ads, and then help you to get it fixed up as fast as possible so that we can get it on the market and sell it for the absolute most money possible. And I promise to be really fun to work with too.
I promise to be pretty, just like I am now.
So I hope you pick me, because I really like you guys and I think we would work really well together, and I also really love working with veterans. And that's one thing I forgot to say. I always put welcome veterans on my listings for any property that's VA eligible, and I've had many veterans thank me for that.
All right. Well, thank you guys for keeping me this far. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You know, my pitch to you, if I had to make a final pitch, would be that the marketing stuff that we talked about, the system and how I feel like I'm generating a higher price and better sales time for my clients, I think it really does work. So especially knowing this area as well as I do, I think, you know, I told you guys I sold the highest price listing in this zip code since the peak of the market in 2006. Sold one right up the street in El Paso. I just sold one on Crockett around here and Dallas. So I feel like I know the area as good as anybody in La Mesa, and I think price-wise I'm doing everything to generate the highest price for my sellers. So you know, that's all I got. I feel like I'm giving you guys my best, and I'd love to win the listing.
Well, if you aren't thoroughly confused yet.
Yeah, we were fine up until that last pitch.
That's it. So I promise. No more stimuli, no more information. That's all you're gonna get. But now's that time. What are the thoughts? What are you guys thinking right now? What's going through your head?
So we were gonna go with John. We just felt comfortable. We felt like he has an edge because he has sold some houses just around the corner. And when we saw what they went for, we were blown away. We're like, how in the world did they get that much money for this little 3-bedroom house? And then when we found out he was the agent, we're like, oh, that's who we need to sell our house. But then Elizabeth, like, she's my real friend. So I'm already kind of attached to her, for one. For two, she's already started making phone calls to get our house looking really, really great. Like, she has all these great contacts. She's already called the landscaper and a painter.
And I don't have to do any more work on the house.
And then he's so tired of working on this house. So we're really torn now. We're just really torn.
It's that time. You've got to write one name on here now. The difference is this time you'll be writing down the name of the winner. So the person who you want to win this listing. This is a tough one for Russ and Susie. They liked Elizabeth from the get-go, but John appears to be the no-brainer for this neighborhood. So who would you choose? John Lieber, the clear neighborhood expert, or would you take a chance on Elizabeth Story, who has a grand plan to fix up the home and sell it for top dollar? And it's time to cut throats. Final elimination is up next. Someone's gonna win this listing and someone's gonna go home empty-handed. Will it be John Lieber or Elizabeth Story? John and Elizabeth, I have to tell you, I really like both of you a whole lot. So this is tough for me personally. And I know it was really tough for Russ and Susie to try to pick one of you two great agents to win this listing and sell this property. Elizabeth, they really like everything you had to say, but especially at the end, you came through quite a bit. John, they from the very beginning have been impressed with the houses that you sold in the neighborhood and specifically for how much you sold them for. And it's hard to look away from that when you are in this situation. But of course, only one of you can win this listing, and the person whose name is written on this card is the winner. Elizabeth, do you think your name is written on this card?
Yes.
How come?
Because I'm a really great agent, I'm going to do a really good job, and I've got the people lined up and ready to go, and I've already got the replacement property, and I'm ready to go for these guys, and I'm going to sell it for a lot of money.
Can you talk faster?
Well, Russ likes it when I talk fast. I forgot to mention I'm also a very loud talker, so...
John, do you think your name's written on this card?
I think so. I think with the experience I have in this area, I think I'm the front runner.
Okay. Elizabeth? You win this listing. Congratulations.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Good job, John.
Thanks.
You did great.
Good job. Good job.
Wait, you mean they didn't pick John? They didn't pick John?
All right, John, that was a tough final elimination. I think you had this thing all the way up until the gardener. How are you feeling right now?
I've never had a gardener cost me a listing, so I'm kind of surprised that that was the one sticking point, that I didn't have a gardener that could come do the work for them. But
will you go look for a gardener right now? Is that like the next step for you today? Is just make sure that never happens again? You can get
maybe I'll start gardening myself. I don't know.
She had people ready to go to get the things done to get the house on the market.
Yeah, that was really kind of like the end deciding factor. From the first phone call I had with Elizabeth, I felt like she was so personable and helpful, and she was really good at her job.
Just an incredible win for the champ Elizabeth Story, who stole this listing from John Lieber, who had it in the bag until the final pitch. John, that's a tough one, but you're a great agent. You'll bounce back. Congratulations to Elizabeth. You win this listing. Elizabeth put the home on the market in late August for $599,000. The home closed at $600,000 2 months later to international buyers. Well, that's a wrap, but our work is not done. If you're looking to sell your home and you'd like to be on the show, go to www.winthislisting.com/casting-call or email me at derek@winthislisting.com. It's time for us to help another family sell their home for top dollar. Have a nice day, everybody. We'll see you next time.